Alright guys, welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I am your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil is officially in the books. It was headlined by Jailton Almeida versus Derek Lewis. Co-main event was Gabriel Bonfim versus the Danish star Nicholas Dalby. We had two fights off the card. It was Victor Hugo versus Daniel Marcos. I believe it was Daniel Marcos at missed weight. And then Ishmael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Ishmael Bonfim was the guy that missed weight and was going to be able to. Vince Pichel denied wanting to fight Bonfim if he wasn't going to make weight. We've been seeing that as a little bit of a trend. We saw that a little bit with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson when Michel Pereira ended up missing weight. He did not want to fight Michel because of the fact that if he was to lose, then it was going to set his stakes of fighting for a title, back to the point where who knows if, Wonderboy can make up that time. But, so Jailton Almeida, Derek Lewis, overall the card, it was good. It was a 6.5, I would say. Main event really kind of impacted things just because there was a lot of hype, a lot of speculation with Jailton Almeida being able to run through Derek Lewis. We've seen him do that, multiple times. We saw this in the Shamil Abdurrahimov fight. We saw him do that on multiple occasions. We saw that against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This was going to be a second main event. Last time we saw him fight was Rozenstruik. He was fighting Rozenstruik in Charlotte. I felt like he wet the bed. I felt like his inactivity while he had Derek Lewis mounted, while he had him flat on the floor, I felt like his inactivity on trying to do something on the ground really affected his way of, what he can do. Now, I truly believe that he is going to be maybe about 1 or 2 fights away on fighting for a belt. I personally think that what's it called? He's going to have to fight Curtis Blades because of the fact that, yes, he dominated. He got 2 judges to score a 50-40 fight. I've never seen a judge score a 50-40 fight since I've been watching MMA. And I've been watching it for a couple of years, right? And I do feel that Jailton Almeida has the abilities to win a title. But the fact that he seems very limited, he does 3 things very well. Step forward, go for, kind of 4. Step forward, throw a front kick, go for a double leg takedown, then attack the neck for going for the submission. I think he does those things very, very well to a T, where it becomes like clockwork, like a routine, right? He was able to do that. He wasn't able to do that to Derek Lewis. He was able to take him down multiple times, but he never really did anything with that. All he was doing when he brought him down and he realized he was not able to submit Derek Lewis was just be stagnant. And Mark Goddard, who I put a lot of blame into this, even though he was yelling at Almeida, was doing his job to try to make sure that Derek Lewis is not becoming a threat to the point where Almeida is in danger. I felt like Mark Goddard should have been able to stand him up and engage them into fighting, because if he didn't feel that Almeida was trying to win, right, and have an actual fist fight, then why are you allowing Almeida to just lay there on top of Lewis, all right, Lewis flat on his back, and him just accepting the fact that Almeida has a better positioning than him? And it was frustrating to watch. It was unfortunately the main event, and that is the last fight, the most recent fight that people are going to be thinking about. What is next for both fighters? I do believe that Almeida gets the Curtis Blades fight. I mean, I know he called out for Ciryl Gane. That's not going to happen. Nor if I'm Ciryl Gane, and nor if I'm in his camp, am I telling Gane, hey, take this fight. If you beat him, you get the title. No. Ciryl Gane has terrible takedown defense. We're going to see Gane get, choked out again. Similar fashion to the way John Jones ended up, bullying Gane, taking him down to the floor and then submitting him. No. If I'm Ciryl Gane, I'm waiting for the winner of Aspinall versus Pavlovich and trying to squeeze into that fight. I am avoiding Jailton Almeida. But it looks like the way from the performance to everything that transpired, it feels like Curtis Blaydes versus Jailton Almeida will have to get rebooked. Derek Lewis, he's an anomaly. I mean, he could fight whoever he wants. His stock value does not dip down whatsoever. I have a feeling that he's in the fighting Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I'm very surprised that both have never fought one another. Both have very similar fighting styles. Jairzinho packs a good punch in his packs a good punching power whenever he throws. Same thing as Derek Lewis. That's the only fight to make, in my opinion. Unless you're gonna throw out the rematch for Lewis versus Volkov. All right, we saw the last thing that ended up happening. That was on the Conor McGregor card, Conor versus Khabib. We saw what happened. Derek Lewis took his shorts off. He said his balls were hot, and then the rest is just spoken history. Co-main event: Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicholas Dalby. Gabriel Bonfim was more than a minus 500 favorite against Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby, I believe he closed out as a plus 425 underdog. Overall, Bonfim started quick as usual. He wanted to end the fight early. He has never went to a decision scorecard, and he wasn't able to put out Dalby inside of round 1. Round 2 happened. Dalby was able to take advantage of the fact that Gabriel looked a little bit tired. Dalby ended up attacking the body, exposing a little bit of the midsection, and then bam, next thing you know, Dalby has Bonfim in a Muay Thai clinch, attacking knees, throwing knees to the body, dropping Bonfim, going for ground and pound, and the fight is over. Bonfim gets the 1 inside of his loss column. He's no longer undefeated, and Nicholas Dalby once again is undefeated against Brazilians and is also undefeated when fighting in Brazil. What's next for both fighters? I do believe that Gabriel Bonfim is going to have to go back to the drawing board. I think he's going to fight lesser competition, which would make more sense. I feel like he's going to fight maybe, give or take, I would say, somebody inside the top 35 to 43 range. I just think that maybe he bit off more than he can chew. But at the same time, Nicholas Dalby has tons of experience whatsoever. So there's nothing to hang your head on for having a loss against Nicholas Dalby. It's not like you lost to somebody that came straight off the Contender Series. All right. As for Nicholas Dalby, he is probably going to fight somebody within the top 20 range. The fact that Dalby, I think he only has 4 losses in his record. I think he's 22-4. He is on the back 9 of his career. I think he's like 37 or 38 years old. He has the ability to go on one final run for a title, and I feel like if the UFC does it right, this could be it. This could be the final chance that he has, and I feel that he might fight somebody like the Leech or Muslim Salikov. One of those two fighters seem reasonable to fight. Have Nicholas Dalby fight. And then lastly, we had Kyle Braulio. He ended up fighting Abus Magomedov. Last time we saw him fight was in July. I think that was the same time frame as well that we saw Kyle Braulio. Both fighters ended up stepping into the octagon. Braulio had a stand-up game. He was holding his own weight against Abus for the first 2 rounds, and then third round he ended up separating himself with Abus. Separating himself in the distance of a huge lead that he had, and Braulio looked like a star in front of the Brazilian faithful. He looked like somebody that the UFC can get behind and actually book him consistently whenever they do come to Brazil. It looks like the UFC is going to be at least coming to Brazil maybe about at minimum twice a year, which is actually a good thing, because we saw that what they're doing in London. They keep on going to London at least twice a year. I have a feeling they might go to Brazil about approximately twice a year. So if that's the case, then you can start building up, and where you can have a lot of local talent, eventually become stars. So that's something to look forward to. And and I lied. The last fight I wanted to talk about was Angela Hill versus Denise Gomez. Angela Hill, that girl's a veteran. Denise Gomez, last time we saw her fight was International Fight Week, where she knocked out Yasmin Jauregui inside 14 seconds. Angela Hill never got finished. inside of her UFC career. Never got knocked out inside of her UFC career, so there was not that to sweat about. She dragged it for the full 15 minutes. We ended up thinking that, Denise Gomez was going to be able to get out Angela Hill. That wasn't the case. Over 2.5 ended up hitting. Angela Hill ended up writing out a decision victory. People were like, Denise should be winning this fight. Should have engaged more. But you know what? Angela Hill has so much veteran experience. She was able to subdue the power, the strength that comes with Denise Gomez and use it against her. And all that energy that she ended up imposing in round 1 really came to bite her, in the where, especially as the fight was starting to go into round 3. So overall, Angela Hill, I think that next fight for her has to be Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm surprised both ladies never been scheduled to fight one another. And then as for Denise Gomez, I mean, she's going to have to go back into the drawing board and, recollect and re-download data and see what she ended up doing wrong, because not every fight you're going to end up be able to, you're not going to be able to stop every fight inside the first minute. So we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, guys, overall UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil, like I said, it was like a 6.5. I feel like the main event really killed a lot of the momentum that the card was carrying. But decent card. Next week, well, actually this Saturday, UFC comes to MSG. Yuri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira for the vacant light heavyweight title. And then we have for the interim heavyweight championship, it is Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. John Jones ended up tearing his pectoral muscle. So the fight between Stipe and John Jones is no longer happening. Stipe is going to be on the sidelines watching this, while there will be an interim title at stake in the co-main event. Until then, guys, I am Flavio Ariana, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, guys. Have a good one. See you.